Welcome to this Lunch and Learn that has been inspired from our Student Voices panel. When we interviewed our students, they said that they just really appreciated it anytime that faculty or staff were able to help them find the resources that they needed. So to follow that up, we invited Hillary as a special guest today to be able to tell us all about some resources that you can find and share with students easily. We wanted to make sure that we facilitated that sharing for you to help it be easy and help it make sense. So I'm going to hand it over to Hillary. Thanks,
Awesome.
Hillary, for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So you guys can all see my screen. Thumbs up. Awesome, great. So I'm going to talk about how you can help students access college resources. And I'm sure many of you are probably like, I already know where the college resources are bound at, but hopefully after today, we have a few more tips and tricks up our sleeves to benefit our students. So I am going to start off with a story. Meet Gretchen. So Gretchen is a first-year college student, and she looks like some of our students, right? She's full of life, energetic, but behind those energetic eyes, there's a little bit of anxiety for starting her first day. So imagine her, right? She signed up for her required classes in one of your programs, and she's gotten her required textbook, and she also was required to get a graphing calculator. So she's all set to go in her book bag, and she shows up to class with her materials, and she sits down. The instructor starts the class, and he says, everybody get out their calculators. And she looks down as he's talking, and she realizes she has no idea how to use this tool. She looks at the instructor, and she has that worried, panic look in her eyes. And the instructor says to everyone, remember, you're expected already how to know how to use this because most of you guys have used it in high school. So I'm not going to be reviewing it. We're going to just be moving on. Imagine her first day. Right? So she has a technology tool. She doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know how to use it. And the instructor didn't even provide her with a resource to tell her, okay, if I don't know how to use it, where do I go? So if you were her, what would your first reaction be? I'd be like, this class is awful already, right? I'm doomed for failure, right? And so immediately she's probably panicking, looking next door, how do I solve this problem? So if you were her, what resources could you think of to help her out? You can place them in chat, call them out.
We could send her to the math center because, not only do they do math tutoring, but also they can help her figure out, while she's doing her, her work, how to use this calculator for those specific, problems.
Right. Any other ideas? YouTube links are always great. Yeah, so the point is, right, Gretchen's this new student and she's scared and doesn't have all of the resources at her fingertips to be successful because the instructor's not guiding her there. So if you're Gretchen and then you couple that with, all right, I'm at class, I don't know how to use this, and now when I leave here, I work a full-time job and I have family obligations. You've just taken this new student and now you have all of these challenges placed on her and you're asking her to complete, right, this program. The risk of her being successful, right, it goes down. She's probably not going to be as successful because she's not equipped. So if you were a student, one of the things that's important to think about are coming into class, put yourself in their shoes. What are the resources and services that you would want from Del Tech, right? What are the resources as a student that they should have in your class? What's the best method for them to access those resources? Is it with phone? Is it through links? Is it through your class pages, right? And have you yourself evaluated all the resources that Del Tech has to offer? So just a thumbs up, right? If you guys actually have gone through and have located all the resources that Del Tech has to offer for your students. Thumbs up, you can put it, right, a little emoji, anything. So we have some people that have, right, and some people that haven't. I know I've learned a lot just by doing this presentation. So our goals today are going to be to identify resources that are important to our students. And then we're going to identify where you can find those resources, including easy insert templates that we have for your D2L courses, widgets that are available, right, to put resources at our students' fingertips, because it's our goal, right, to make them succeed. So if we can make their job easier, we can anticipate problems, we're going to lead them into a path of success. So when getting ready for this presentation, I was looking at a lot of different websites, and the last one that I popped up on was Open Pressbooks from Oregon, and all of these resources came together, and it's key college resources that instructors should know about to be able to point their students in this direction. And if you think about it, it's academic and advising. Yes, our students need to know what to do next in the course sequence. Personal guidance, right? Sometimes we're therapists, or we send them to counselors who help them out. Tutoring options for our math student, librarians for resources, employment services, right? How do I get involved? Being part of a community is so important in college. Where can students go to feel like they belong, especially in a community college where they're not living on campus? They're in and out, they're working. So how do we get them to be introduced to all of those things? Technology services, right? Where do I go for virtual support? Loaner laptops is always a big question. And I know my first thought was, I have no idea where they get a loaner laptop out. And I had to find it. What are your faculty office hours and childcare options? So right now, looking at all you guys and seeing these key college sources, and there's like 14, thumbs up or thumbs down. Do you know where all of these resources are located at through Del Tech? Yeah, so I even like Sarah. She's like, maybe. I'm kind of like borderline on a good day, right? Half up, half down. The cool part is we have a lot of resources at our fingertips as instructors, and we may not have the answers, but if we know where to point the students at, right, we're being very helpful in getting them the right direction instead of saying, I don't know, let's go somewhere else. So CCIT has put together a lot of resources at your fingertips that you probably don't even know about, that you can incorporate right into your course to help your students along. And so we have a Learning with Technology course that I'm going to discuss. I'm going to talk about some D2L help buttons on the nav bar, which are great. Our HTML templates that we typically put in Getting Started modules that have student and technology resources, and widgets. So how many of you have heard about this Learning with Technology course, or have your students gone through it? So we have some, that have, and some that doesn't. This is a brand new course that came out this year, and I'm going to put the link in the chat in case you haven't seen it. This is great for first year students. It's a great reminder for all of our students. But if you look at it, we get into the course, if I'm a brand new student and this is my first introduction to Del Tech, this takes some of the worry out. So what classes am I taking? 15 minutes it's going to take me to go through this. What do I do before the first day of class? This is great, right? A short video that your students can watch. As instructors, you can send them out an email link, right? As an advisor, here we go. What do I do the first day of class? What's my role to being successful? How do I use Zoom? How do I use D2L? What are the main features? And if you think about it as a student, how great is it that you can choose your own, if you will, adventure in this course, right? You can pick and choose what's important to you when you need it. So how do I know what's going on in my class? How do I complete assignments? How do I get organized? Why this is a great resource tool for you as instructors, you can funnel those students there who especially are new, who are coming back for a second time, who may have been out, or just have a question in general. And you're like, go to the Learning with Technology course, and there's a tab right here. Let me get you the link, and you can find out all the information just from reviewing this. And then if you have a question, come back to me. So some instructors will put this as a widget on their course homepage, right? So their students easily have access to it when they pop open their course. So that's a great tool for you guys to use.
Hillary?
Yeah.
It's also gamified for some students who like that motivation, that they earn badges through the course as well. And they can track their progress and really feel good about that achievement.
And I know on the, ID side, Jason was super excited on his gaming to see how many people did earn badges. It's a success on our end to say, awesome, our students are loving this course and going through it. So if you haven't checked it out, check it out. And if you want to add it to your course homepage as a widget after today, we can help you do that too. So if we go back and look at those 15 main key points that we wanted our students to be able to find at their fingertips or have access, one of the things that CCIT has, and we have these getting started, I call them module templates. And so do many of you guys already have a getting started module in your course? Yes, thumbs up. Yeah, so I have some nods. Yeah, well, that's great. So now's the time where you can go back and really look at our module templates and see what's in them. And so when we think about those core things that students, right, really need resources to, I've placed these 3 templates right in my sandbox up front, just to give you guys a view of them. The instructor information template is so important because students want access to you. And so if you have this in your getting started module, they know about you, they see you, but this is the important stuff, right? The telephone number, where they can find you at, your email address, and your student hours. They want to know that if they have a problem, how they can email you, what's your response time, and when they can meet with you. So that takes that easy checkbox off. How you communicate, if you're a texter and your kids are texters, great. If you're like, nope, email me. But it's all right here for them in one easy template. And that way they know in all your classes, there it is, boom, they've got you at their fingertips. So it's a great resource. CCIT also has a student resource pages. You're going to find a lot of resources that the students need, right, are in multiple places. So think about your D2L shell. If you have your getting started module and you have your student resources up front, take time to walk your students through this module your first day of class. Let them know these resources are here, because many times our students don't want to tell you they need help, right? They're scared, they're anxious, they'd rather go search on their own than ask you. But if you explain to them up front, these resources are available, they already know where to go. So in the student resources template, you're going to find the math center, right? The writing center, the library, registrar, financial aid, student life, career services, mental health, financial resources, and food pantry. This is a lot of resources that many of our students may never check out all of them, but may need some of them. So just by you mentioning it, they have a home and a spot right inside your page where they can go to. The next resource is the technology resource pages. And this is another template that's already built. You just drop it right in. But right, minimum tech requirements. What do I need for technology for distance learning and online learning? How do I download, right, software that I may need for a class? This is really important. A lot of our students struggle with, I don't have Microsoft, right? How do I put a shortcut on? This gives them access to all of those things, which is great, right? Virtual support. Where can I go and get help at my fingertips? And the laptop lending library. So if you take the time to go through each one of these again, right, it's all right there for your students at the very beginning. So how do you get those pages? I know many of you have done this, but if you just go to create a file in your course, always go down to browse templates, shared files. You're going to go to HTML templates 4. It's always a new one. And we have this whole getting started template module. And you can scroll through and you'll find the instructor info sheet, right? Your student technology resources and your student resources. So you'll just check those and add it to your course, give it a new title, and you're good to go. Save and close, and it's already in there. So quick ways to add resources so your students don't have to feel like they're not supported or looking. So we talked about HTML pages. I want to show you something really quick too that Laura and I were discussing and Pauline yesterday. How many of you use the help button on the nav bar? Right? Me either. But when Laura and I were talking about it, it's pretty cool because if your students know just to click on the help nav bar, look, so say they need D2L help, the link is right here. It takes them to Brightspace for for top questions with students. So if you have a student who really is energetic and wants to figure out their problem, they can go to D2L. This page also provides you Del Tech help. It links them right to the virtual support center. So they can go student technology support, IT support, passwords. It's all on your nav bar and it's in every course. So if you teach them up front, which this help bar is for, they already can answer questions on their own and they won't need you. Also, the Learning with Technology courses here, the virtual support center is directly linked out. So if you haven't used it, I would suggest checking it out and then passing it on to your students.
And you will see slight differences under the help choice if you're an instructor or if you're a student. So as the instructor, you had access to the instructor hub, for instance. So you might see slight differences there, but still the ones that Hillary highlighted are the ones that are consistent in either help area.
So next I'm going to show you a couple of pages with widgets, and widgets are these on your homepage, right? You have the announcement widgets. Typically we see calendars, we see work to do widgets, but widgets are another great way that you can put important resources for your students, right, to support them in their learning right on your homepage. And so a lot of times we think about what are some things our students really need access to quick. It's us. So a lot of times we'll have our instructor information. Our Zoom widgets are on there. Learning with technology, formatting, APA resources. If you're using a publisher, McGraw-Hill, right? Cengage, those types of things. So if you have a course, really think about your homepage and think about where is it important for your student to be able to go very quickly where they're not funneling through a lot of your materials and constantly finding, right? They don't want to look for an email or announcement with a Zoom link. Can we put the same Zoom link right here as a widget? And so this is an English course and they did the Zoom widget. They have contact your instructor widget and they really personalized it. View the course schedule, which directly links. And they also have the APA resources. Another widget page, they put the McGraw Connect right at the beginning because this is typically a class where they're going to connect out and the teacher facilitates most of their learning. The D2L shell really just holds materials, right? It's resources for them. So the students know when they start class, they're going to begin and go right here. So it's at their fingertips. And so other things that you can think about for resources, are they studying for a big exam, right? A certification prep course. And you can put a resource or a widget on your homepage that directs them, right, to how to create how to go right to the resource guide, how to study. And so if they're bored, it's right there and it's right in their face. Don't forget, you're going to take this exam at the end of this course, be ready, and goes right there. And so that's a lot of resources already. The other important part that's not in a lot of our courses, but as an instructor, and it's not a tool and trick that we have at CCIT, but it is our website. And so a lot of students aren't directed to here or they get lost. And so I'm viewing this as student resources and not employee resources. But everything that we've discussed is really listed here plus more. So I encourage you to take the time and go through, look at our bookstore, look at the discounts our students are able to have, right? Everybody loves a great discount. Where's our childcare facility, okay? Student support and needs, virtual center, financial support, library, technology, campus life has all of the perks for dining, athletics, campus and maps. So it's a great idea, even though we're not plugging all these resources into a D2L template, but to know where they're at. So if you find that student in need, you can direct them right to where they need to be. Any questions so far?
Hillary, Tina had asked a question in the chat about being able to search the portal.
That is a great question. And I'm not sure how you can search the portal.
Up at the top, there's search for page, content, or any app over on the left-hand side of your screen.
Oh, right here. Yeah.
So Tina, what topic are you looking for?
There'll be things like maybe I want to send a student like fresh start or, whatever. And I just go into Google and type those topics, and then it takes me into where to find it. Because it's just so time consuming trying to search in my.dtcc. So I thought, oh, maybe I just haven't realized that I could go in this little search bar, and I threw in a couple of topics and nothing appears.
And Tina, just to let you know, marketing really is the powerhouse behind the portal. So we don't really have much to do with that. So those questions actually would be really great for Adrian Wade, because he manages that. And I'm not sure if, so this portal is managed by Unified, and I don't know if the search functionality has to do with that, but I would definitely contact him, because I agree with you. I think that that's a great strategy. And some of those might be more the website than the portal. You know what I mean? Depending on the topic itself.
So I'm sorry, Adrian
Wade.
WADE
Would be
Yeah.
WADE. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because there's a lot of times it's like, oh my gosh, it's so much easier just to go out to Google and type something in Delaware Tech, and bam, I find it. And it would be wonderful if if you could just do the same right here on my.dtcc.
I think that's a great suggestion.
Yeah, I think you're right too, Sarah, that if you just go to the website, the dtcc.edu, and search, you may have a lot more success there instead of the portal.
I agree. And so
Maybe the portal is still working on some of those tags to help with that search function too. So those are great things to bring up. Thank you, Tina.
yeah. So I go back to this previous slide that we put, right? The resources that instructors need to know to be able to pass on to our students, so we increase student success. And I went through each one of those and started identifying, do we mention them? Do we have them at our fingertips? And we do. And not only do we have them, I only put a single location. These are typically, right, template pages. They're on the portal. They're at various learning with technology course. So not only are they in one place, they're probably in 2 or 3 places around the college for our students to be able to access them. So we just wanted to give you some ways that you can provide them in your course and direct your students there so they feel comfortable. So that in case they're shy or have anxiety, they know those resources exist and where to get them in multiple areas. And so what can you do? I like this quote, right? Students, especially at-risk students, can't take advantage of support if they can't find it or if it's not available when they are. So by identifying at-risk students and proactively engaging them with a personalized approach that meets their unique needs, institutions can truly make a difference by keeping them on their path. And so this really sums it up. It's about us as instructors knowing where to find the resources and making sure we pass that information on to our students and not just say it's in a getting started module or visit the portal. It's about taking that next step and saying, let me help you find them and here's more to them. So I am gonna stop my share screen and see if you guys have any questions, and I'm gonna share some links with you on if you guys have questions on how to build widgets, create awesome home pages, or even how to create those HTML templates in your course. We'll get you those real quick. So I'll take questions while I'm working on getting you the links. Anybody?
Tina, I'll say, I do think that some of these are covered in SSE 100, but I think the issue is students, and I know this from tutoring, students don't pay attention to the services until they need them. So, they'll hear, that something happened, but it doesn't, sink in because they don't feel like it applies to them. And just like for us, I mean, we know some of these things are out there, but we don't necessarily know enough about them. So, we've got to kind of educate ourselves too. But I think part of it is students are just so overwhelmed at the beginning and we give them so much information. So, they might be like, I think there's tutoring, but I don't know how to get to it. They get lost. And I think the textbook thing is really helpful, Hillary. I just had a student the other day coming in and he was trying to access his macroeconomics textbook and he had just given up at like the first page, because you buy it and then you have to go to the email and click through all these things to actually get to it. And me just sitting down with him and being like, click here. Okay, let's go over there.
Yeah.
he just was so overwhelmed that he had just been like, well, I can't access it. I can't figure it out. So I think, sometimes they just need that extra little bit of support. And if we can just point them in the right direction, then they can be like well on their way to being successful.
And you made a really good point, Carrie, and students look to their instructors because that's the person that they need right then and there. And so the more that we can leverage these templates and other resources that we have, and you can put them in your course so that it feels like they were put there just for them. So they don't have to go out to Google. They don't have to do all these things. And I know it means one more step for a lot of us, but we're hopefully trying to make your lives easier through helping with these widgets and these templates and things like that. So
is it possible, remember with Blackboard, there were certain things that were automatically put into our courses each semester? Like,
it
could
is
some of this
absolutely possible, Tina. It's just that not many people like to globally do that, but I think it's definitely, I've heard more and more people say that of late, right? To say, well, I just wish that we had getting started populated for everyone, that it would just push out. So what I would suggest to you is that if you as faculty, as chairs, if you want that, tell your deans, because we can do that. We can do it tomorrow, but we don't want to be the drivers of that. And we want to know, what does everyone need? What do our students need? Which is kind of why we're having this student voices, this whole panel. But if you all want that, please let us know. Email me, like I said, email your deans. It's very easy. We can do it departmentally. We can do it globally, through the institution. And I too would agree that having those resources and consistent resources, right, for students would be very, very helpful.
Okay, so just to the deans, and then that way we could, if we don't want it, we could just hide it, for those who don't want. Okay.
Absolutely.
And if you haven't gone through the getting started templates that we have, I would take a moment and go through all of them and see, there's other templates in there that you might find very useful for your courses, how to use D2L, Zoom Basics, distance learning, there's like 23, I think, in there that you can take a look at.
I think what Hillary mentioned earlier is really important to remember, is that pointing out the resources, scheduling just those couple of minutes to be able to go through it, to say, this is available for you and here it is, can really help a lot of your students. But to Carrie Ann's point of just in time as well, maybe a big assessment is coming up or a big assignment is coming up, and you can say, by the way, the tutoring center is available, and you can just put it out there. And you can recommend it to certain kids if you want, but you could also put it in as a general message to the class. If you're finding that you're struggling and you need support with how to use your graphic calculator effectively, here's the math center, or something like that. Whatever resource you've seen that you've had to provide in the past, then just put it up front and let students know, hey, by the way, some students have struggled with this type of question. We're going to talk about this in student hours next week. So come and we'll talk about it there. Little tidbits like that, because you as the instructors and as these service providers have so much knowledge to share with the students. Sometimes the students don't even know the questions to ask. So if you can offer some of that information proactively, sometimes that can really help the students realize, oh yeah, I did have a question about that.
And we know from tutoring that the number one reason students come is because their instructor told them about it. So, I know sometimes as instructors, we think that the students are not listening to us, but some of them are. Some of it does sink in, sometimes they do, they do get that message. And having, I can't remember who was telling me about this, but one of the programs said, I think it possibly was nursing, where they said that they had recorded a video of students that had finished a particular class that was really difficult. And then at the next semester, they showed the new students that video where it was, all the things that we wish we'd known and what we learned and how to get through this class. Yeah. And students really, really appreciated that, because it made them feel like, students resist tutoring and they resist coming to a lot of different resources because they feel like they shouldn't have to, or they're the only ones who need help. And so to show students, here are these other students who have been successful, have gone through this course, and this is what they use to help them. I know that that was a really popular, thing that the nursing department did, and seemed to be very effective.
Well, go explore our resources, share your knowledge, and thank you guys for attending with us today.